Can't take it. I wish I get away from here. Never back to this. It's all I wanted, and I'm so forget.
Hey guys, it's your girl Linda Mary. Welcome to the first episode of first segment of Cooking with Linda Mary. So this segment will be all about just cooking. I normally do a lot of cooking in my vlogs, and you guys tell me we love the cooking. Please keep up. I even had a live and I asked, what do you want me to do more? A lot of you said cooking and also cleaning. So I listened to you, and I also love cooking. So today we are cooking one of the most popular Kenyan or African dishes. Like if you tell someone right now that you are coming to see them, that's the first thing that will come to their mind. This is the first meal that they are going to cook for you, which is ugali, traditional greens, the kienyeji, and meat. Before I start cooking, I want to first take you through the types of kienyeji, these traditional greens, because sometimes maybe you want to prepare them but you don't know how to mix them or which ones go with which ones, because it's not just one type of greens, there are a variety. Let me first tell you what I chose today. This is a mixture of kunde. Kunde is one of the most common. That is how it looks like. And then it is a little bit rough. It also has managu. Managu is also one of the most common types of traditional greens or kienyeji that we prepare, or you can prepare. There are two types of managu. So the first one, this normal type of managu, it has small leaves. So this is the one we normally use. This is the one I also picked today. And then there's this other type of managu that has big leaves. That one is usually a little bit bitter. There are people who don't like the traditional greens to be all sweet. No, there are people who like a little bit of bitterness in it. So if that's you, you go for the big managu. So we have kunde, we have managu, we have spinach also in this mixture. And then we also have terere. How do you pair these traditional greens? Most of the time you need to get something that's a little bit rough. That can be kunde or that can be managu. Those are a bit rough. And then you mix it with something soft. That can be terere or spinach mostly. You can also use kanzera. Kanzera, it looks like it looks like skuma colored sort of, but it's softer, and especially even I hear people who have ulcers tend to gravitate towards that because it is less acidic. So just know if you have kunde, you need to have something softer, which is terere or spinach. You can mix all of them together, or even managu separate and also have it with terere or spinach. There are even other types of kienyeji like this one. For us, we call it a pot in Kijaluo. In Luo, it has very small leaves and it is very soft. It's even recommended for kids. Like, it is very soft. You don't even chew. It just slides. I want to first boil these traditional greens. And what I'm going to do, this is water. So I just want to boil them in water for very, very few minutes. Few, less than 10. So they can still retain their nutrients and their green color. There are a few things that you can normally use to make these greens softer and retain that green color. One of them is this one, Magadi baking soda. You can buy it from the shops. I use it, but not too often because I don't know. I've had some concerns about it, but I'm not sure. Okay, so I just put a little bit of it and then I pour in my greens. They've already been washed. They've already been cut. An alternative is baking powder. Some people use baking powder to achieve the same results. And then other people, the most common and I think maybe the safest thing you can use, it's called munyu. It's a Luya term. So wherever you are getting your greens from, if that person is a Luya, just ask them, do you have munyu? It's in liquid form. You pour in the water and then just have this boil. Just bear with me today because my baby is watching cartoons, so you may hear some cartoon sounds in the background. That is cooking. I want to prepare the ingredients that I use for making both the traditional greens, the kienyeji, and the beef. And I'm using these onions even for the traditional greens. I forgot to buy the other onions. What are they called? The ones zile za kijiti. If you get those ones, please buy them because they just give off this sweet taste in food. I want to prepare garlic. I've used 4 cloves. This can be too much for some people. Maybe you can use 3. I don't know. But I love garlic because it makes the food so tasty. That aroma that it gives. I usually say, no, these ingredients that you buy from the market. What do you call them? Kichungu, nyanya, those ones. The one that can't miss for me is garlic. And then the ones in powder form, the ones that can't miss for me is curry powder. And another one, no, I'll tell you about it. But these ones I want to grate them. My relationship with garlic is tight. Kama kifuniko ya gas. I normally don't like to chew and feel the garlic inside food. So I prefer to grate them. If you have a blender, I think that's even easier. You blend them. Some people prefer pound with the mortar and pestle. That's like a small one. Some people pound and some people also cut them, chop them into small, whichever works for you. But just make sure that someone will not be able to taste like a bite on the actual garlic. It's nasty. I like using this small part to grate. I'd like to give special thanks to the people who helped me come up with this concept. The first person is my bestie, Caitlin. She kept telling me, yeah, continue doing the cooking in your vlogs because we love it, we enjoy it. The second person is Glory. Glory, I don't know why I was fighting you on this, but she kept telling me, you know, the way these other people do cooking, like do only cooking. And I was like, no, Glory, I'm not a cooking channel. I am a lifestyle channel. And yes, I'll incorporate cooking inside that, but it's not like entirely a cooking channel. I got the idea that she wanted me to do a lot of cooking. I didn't get that idea of how I can do just cooking without mixing it with vlogs. Thank you, Glory. The third person is someone's son. He also just kept saying, please do just cooking. There are people who just want to see cooking and not the vlogs together. So I was like, hey, okay, this has come up a bit. So I sat and thought about it and then it hit me. I can have them like as separate segments. And then that's when the name just clicked. Cooking with Linda Mary. So thank you to all of you. Even someone's son, I know you may not be watching right now, but thank you. I wanted to show you this. You see? It starts boiling and producing this foam like whatever because of that magadi that I used. And please just use a little bit of it or else the greens will become sour. And if you feel like they're a little sour, just pour more water to dilute that. But just use a little bit. So let's give it some 2-3 more minutes and then we set it aside and continue with the beef. The greens are ready. So I just want to put them aside. I want these greens to cool down because I'm going to sieve the water. I'm not going to use this water, and I'm going to use this to sieve the water. But then after this, I'm going to use my hands to squeeze out all that water. I don't want all that. I don't want any of that water, and I can't touch hot water. So let it just cool. You can add a little cold water to change the temperature so that it doesn't continue cooking. I don't want to overwash it, so I don't drain away all the nutrients, but I usually just wash it once and then I add some water so it can boil. Some people don't add water at all because you know when you wash it, it has its own water which can help it to get ready. But I like my meat very, very soft, so I prefer to add some little water. I don't like struggling with while eating or like eating something that looks yummy and has a lot of spices but is so hard. So I'm just going to cover it and let it boil for a while, more than 30 minutes. Yeah. So it's still boiling. I'll give it some more time, but it's almost ready. So 30 minutes later, all the water has drained. The meat is soft. This is how I like it. So I want to fry it. Sometimes I prefer all the water to drain before I start frying it. And other times, if the meat is ready and there's still some soup left or broth, that water, I just put it aside and then I'll use it later as soup. So either way can work. These are the ingredients I'm going to use: onions, garlic, tomatoes, and then here we have nor beef, holy grail. This one and this one, these days, kitambo it used to be curry powder. I could never miss cooking beef with curry powder. Let me first pour cooking oil so it doesn't start sticking. If you've noticed, all of my spices, I trust tropical heat. I prefer tropical heat. But when it comes to curry powder, Simba, the Simba one is the thing. So then I started using nor beef, and nor beef is just amazing. It adds way more taste. So these two cannot miss. And then this one is for thickening the soup, the roiko. These two, to be sincere, they're not even necessary. This is just me trying to be fancy, because now these days I try to add them in almost everything. So sometimes I add them, sometimes I don't. But these are my major ingredients that I use every day for beef. The way I prepare beef is that after boiling it, I let it soak in the oil for some time until it starts becoming a little bit brown before I add the spices that I'm going to use. And I usually add all of them first and then the tomatoes last, because I feel like tomatoes have that wateriness. So the minute you add them, I don't know, other spices don't cook that well. That's just my personal opinion. I can't prove it. See, like this. This is the point where I add onions. Some of these, the rest are for the greens. I love onions. They make the food tasty. The onions are cooked, the meat is cooked. So this is when I add the rest of the ingredients. I like putting in garlic about 1 to 2 minutes before I put in the tomatoes. Because if I put them early on and they cook way longer, they start getting stuck to the saucepan. And this delicious garlic will just be lost in the saucepan. No, I'd like to feel the aroma. Here's all the oil evaporated too. Hey, oil is like gold in Kenya these days. You can't just use oil like that. But let me add a little bit. Oil is the new gold. It's very expensive. And then I add salt to help the tomatoes soften faster. In the meantime, let's mix some roiko with water. Oh, wow. I didn't know I was running out. Okay. I like mixing it with water so you don't eat the lumps. Don't feel the lumps, like bite the lumps when you're eating. So uncomfortable. The tomatoes are ready. Meantime, as the beef cook, let's take care of these greens. So they've cooled down a bit, as you can see. So I just want to pour in here. So you can see it all. The reason why I wanted it to cool down was this. See all of these. So if you were to cook with all of this water, it will not be delicious, because it will just be water, a lot of water. These are the ingredients we'll use to prepare the greens now. We're going to fry them with these onions, and then we'll use these roiko cubes. Specifically this red one, I don't know why. It's the one that just gives that flavor that I need. And then you're going to use milk. And not all of these, hey, not even half of these. Some of these will be for preparing milk. Tea, sorry. Huh? So at this point, I'm just adding my greens and I'm mixing it up just under low heat. I want it to soak in that the oil and the onions. In the meantime, let's pound these. Oh, I'd not mentioned it. Most of the times I don't use tomatoes on traditional Kenyan, but sometimes I do, especially when I don't want to use milk. But when I'm using milk, a lot of the times I don't use the vegetables. So I'm not going to put all of it, just so let me just mix it up. At this point, I'm just going to pour the milk. Hi, Marvin. Just pour. And just pour the star until I feel like it has enough. I really don't want it to be that dry because I can eat it for 2 days. This is enough milk. And if you are cooking a lot of greens that you know you'll eat the next day and the next day, these greens you can eat them for the next even 4 days consecutively. They won't go bad even if you don't have a fridge. All you need to do is be warming them with milk. Or alternatively, you just put a lot of milk. So each day you warm as you eat, you warm as you eat. The more days pass by, the more delicious it is. Like tomorrow, it will be more delicious than today. Weird, but true. So the last thing that I'm cooking, this is what we say it's Africa's most popular dish or Kenya's most popular dish. If you are not Kenyan and you visited Kenya, a Kenyan home, you most likely have eaten this. It's called ugali. It's a mixture of water and maize flour. So let's cook. So the first thing is that you have to bring your water to a boil, which it has already done. So I'm just going to be mixing the flour slowly by slowly until I get that consistency that I want. So you see the water is boiling, so I'm just going to be taking a little bit of this. First of all, don't put a lump, just sprinkle first and let it boil through that. So you can be sure it has really boiled. If you don't bring it to this boil, it will come out uncooked. You see what is happening? So now I know the water is ready. So I just add another one, maybe slightly. Also give it just a few more minutes so it can boil. Yes, so now I can start mixing it. Just slowly by slowly. At first it will have lumps and look like porridge. If you are Kenyan, of course you know what I'm doing and you know how this meal is prepared. I'm just doing it for the sake of anyone who might not be Kenyan or who might not know how to prepare this. So just be adding until it will be like porridge and then thicker, just like that. Don't be in a hurry, just turn and mix so that it doesn't form lumps, so the lumps can break. You don't want to have lumps with the maize flour in between them. So you just do this and turn. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm doing. Just do this and turn continuously as you add maize flour. Some people like to do this. Take a portion of it to ensure that now if you look at this, now you can't see the maize flour, like the particles, everything is just one consistency, which is what we are aiming for. I'm okay with this consistency. Some people prefer extremely soft ugali. This is called ugali by the way. This also differs from tribe to tribe. Some also prefer very hard, the ones that you can just feel as if it's almost, I don't even know how to describe it. I just like something that is medium. If you have a young child, let me say a child who is like months old, you're introducing them to food, less than a year, you're going to use to put very soft consistency. There are various ways you can know your ugali is ready. One is through the taste. Of course, if you've ever cooked it or eaten it, you know how it's supposed to taste. But now, if you haven't, you see it starts to look like it's getting like burnt somehow. When that happens, I just start to form a shape. I just do this, like this, just round. Just doing this so it can form the round shape, so you can put it on the plate. So at the end of it all, it looks like this. See, it's round. So you can just reduce the heat for some time. Let it go for 1 or 2 minutes. And we are done. We serve it. This is ready. This is ready. So I'm just going to take it and flip it, put it on. So if the shape is not accurate, then if you're not eating immediately and you're still cooking other things, you can cover it with the souffle that you just used to cook it. So it can continue to, I don't know what. Does it continue to cook? Why do we cover? I don't know. So that it also doesn't get cold if you're not eating now. So this is our ugali. Yum yum. So our meal is ready. You see how these greens, these traditional greens, the Kenyan, they have retained their green color. That is because of that thing that we put, the magadi or baking soda. And then this is our ugali. This is our ugali. Ugali people say, oh yeah. And then this is our beef. So this is our meal. This is what we were cooking. And I am so happy that we did this fast. I wanted to start with something as simple as this because these are very popular meal. And then I'll be incorporating more meals, some complicated, some simple. I want you to tell me what you'd like me to include in this segment of Cooking with Linda Mary. What do you want me to cook? If it's something that I know how to cook, I can research on it, I can do it. Please let me know if you want me to do things a little bit differently, what you want me to include, just let me know. And if you've liked this segment of Cooking with Linda Mary, just click the like button and tell me. Thank you so much for staying with me and see you in my next video or my next Cooking with Linda Mary.